It is vanity to speak highly of a person who cannot hear you anymore because he is dead. He will not wake up to say thank you very much for your kind words. If you are to forgive, forgive now. If you are to love, love now. Share the love that you have in your heart, which is infinite. You have the aura, the power to influence and love one another and to make positive change in each other's life. When Nelson Mandela was in jail, he was tortured. You may all be aware that he was incarcerated in jail for 28 years. Most of you might not have reached 28 years. But being in jail for 28 years, but he did not give up faith and hope that one day my people shall be liberated from the tyranny white regime, from the apartheid. Because they were discriminated. Even in spite of the fact that South Africa country is dominated by the black. The name Africa itself that is a country of the black. Nelson Mandela one day when he was beaten up, tortured, wanted to drink water. The chief prison officer urinated on his face. So, when the urine enters the wound of a person, it is even more painful. It was an excruciating pain. Nelson Mandela could not take it. That was the humiliation, the suffering that a leader had to undergo to liberate his people, to work for his people, so that his people may live in liberty. Ultimately, when the South Africans were liberated from the bondage of white, Nelson Mandela became the president of South Africa. One day he was going for a stroll with his security guard and entered a five-star hotel. And somewhere in the corner of the hotel, the chief prison officer was also having food, or rather order food to have. Nelson Mandela got recognizing. And the man, the chief prison officer, was terrified because when you hurt somebody and he became a very big personality, it is obvious that you'll be afraid. Nelson Mandela, when he saw the chief prison officer who urinated on his face, he was trembling. He was petrified and he urinated on his pants. Nelson Mandela called the chief prison officer towards him and invited him to dine together. Just see a glaring example of a big person, a person with a huge heart. In spite of the fact that he was tortured when he was in jail, he did not nurse grudges, but he invited him over the table for a dinner. That is the kind of leadership that we need today among you young friends. You must rise up to be a very tall leader and lead our society. Nelson Mandela did not nurse grudge. Only his sole objective was to liberate his people. Even as you come and study here, there may be a lot of difficulties along the way, sometimes with your friends and teachers. Sometimes things may not be going according to your thinking. And sometimes you may want to give up studies. But don't lose hope and objective like Nelson Mandela did. Your only objective is to acquire education and serve our society, exactly the same as Nelson Mandela did.